Dear colleagues, I would like to give you today how to uh, do our COPO mapping and to calculate the attainments course-wise, because all of us are coordinator for one or the other course. So how to map and then calculate the same, and then do needful to our criteria in consolidating that work, uh, thereby to complete it from the department side. So I hope all of you have followed this rule, sir, by while you are preparing the um, COs, of course, course outcomes. And since we had a verification process also, we have divided all courses of our department into 8 streams, and these 8 streams are allotted with some senior professors and associate professors to verify the same and give us as per the norms which were given by the central committee, of course. I just wanted to give you a glance over again, but hope all of you have done it as per the norms itself. Course outcomes are what the student should be able to do at the end of the course. It is an effective ability, including attributes, skills, and knowledge, to successfully carry out some activity which is totally identified. The most important aspect of a CO is that it should be measurable. So here, our main intention is to to measure this COs. When we could able to measure, only then we can see whether we have attained our target or not. So how we were actually preparing the COs by using these, methodology. I hope all of you have done like this. Structure of a CO statement carries 4 steps: action, knowledge, condition, and criteria. In which criteria is an optional thing, conditional is also optional, but action knowledge must be there in each. So we can see here, so there are some samples. I think I have discussed this while I have conducted a meeting of verification of the courses which I have done with my colleagues, of course. So there are some samples here. You can see in sample one, it carries all 4 parts. So a CO carries a maximum of 4 parts: action, knowledge, condition, and criteria. And in sample 2, you can see it carries only 3 parts: action, knowledge, and condition. This is also a CO. CO can be framed with three parts also. Maximum of 4 parts. Sample 3. In sample 3, you can see it's only carrying 2 parts: action and knowledge. It means condition and criteria you don't have in it, even though it's a CO. Calculate major and minor losses associated with fluid flow in piping networks. Calculate is the apply verb here, which we have used as an action verb. So we start with an action verb, Bloom's taxonomy, and followed by the knowledge, of course, and condition and criteria. But action knowledge must be there in each, criteria. Sorry, CO. But a CO can carry maximum of 4 parts. And some do's and don'ts that we have followed while preparing the COs. We have to use only one action verb. I hope all of you have done that. Do not use word including, like, such as, different, etc. with respect to knowledge. So no, it means that the sentence should not be a generic one. Rather, it is to be a specific one. Okay. Put in effort to make the competency statement as specific as possible and measurable. So here, actually, we have competency levels. Um, Competency levels of our department defined, uh, which are given in this folder, which I have shared with email, and as well I have shared it with WhatsApp. Competencies and performance indicators. This was shared before, and I hope all of you have uh, used this performance indicators while preparing their COs, which of course now help you in preparing the COPO mapping as well. Which will be now, I mean, your job is almost done if all of you have done using these performance indicators, COs are prepared. Fine. Here you can see actually, in engineering, we have about 12 POs, right? PO1 to PO12 we have, PO1, PO2, PO3, like that. And then we have PSOs, PSO1 and PSO2 as well, right? So again, in each PO, you can see there are certain competencies here, right? There, for example, PO1. PO1 is what it's about engineering knowledge. Apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and engineering specialization for the solution of complex engineering problems. So in this, you can see the competencies demonstrate competence in mathematical modeling. So this competency again is mapped with certain indicators. These are said to be the performance indicators. So in this 1.2, you can find 1.2.1. Apply the knowledge, discrete structures, linear algebra, statistics, and numerical techniques to solve problems. At 1.2.2, we have applied the concepts of probability, statistics, and queuing theory in modeling of computer-based system and data and network protocol. Like for example, for your discrete mathematics, for example, a person who is preparing COs, keeping in view of this performance indicators prepared, then you can directly map that CO with this PO, because you can see discrete structure. The word is, you can probably you can see here in 1.2.1. Apply the knowledge of discrete structures, linear algebra, statistics, and numerical techniques to solve the problem. So this sentence directly, referring to the discrete mathematics subject. So the person who is trying to map, for discrete mathematics, he can directly take this performance indicator. Okay, so I mean, this will help you in identifying the weightage of the POs while mapping with COs, provided that the COs are prepared keeping in view of this performance indicator. I hope all of you have used this while preparing the COs. You can straight away use this performance indicator. Fine. Now, in this, the second competence we have is, like, for example, demonstrate competence in basic sciences. So in that we have one performance indicator, apply laws of natural science to an engineering problem. So like that, you can see there are competencies listed in the left side, and its respective performance indicators on the right side. Okay. So now, while I'm mapping my CO with PO, what is it I'm going to do is, like under PO1. Under PO1, how many competencies I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4, competencies in under PO1. Now, under first competency 1.2, you can see. Okay, so in 1.2, I have about 2 performance indicators, right? So now, if I see the total number of performance indicators in PO1, if I calculate, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, total are 5. Good. Now, let us say my CO is being mapped. My CO is being mapped here. Let us say, for example, discrete mathematics, one particular CO we have mapped, and it was mapped to, let us say, the 1.2.1. Okay, so then and then probably it may be mapped with other competencies as well. Apply engineering fundamentals. Engineering fundamentals also, let us say, it comes under. For example, I just take 2 or 3. Okay, let us say apply engineering fundamentals is mapped, and let us say discrete structure is mapped. Okay, the first one. Probability statistics also for discrete. Okay, let it be. I mean, just taking a vague example. Let us say the 1.2.1 is mapped and 1.6.1 is mapped to my CO, right? So here, how many total indicators are there? Five indicators are there. Okay, out of these 5 indicators, only 2 are mapped. So what could be the percentage of performance indicators were being mapped to my CO will tell me the level which I have to take. under that particular PO to address the CO. Okay, so that I'll probably show with the help of a Excel sheet. So now one here mapped here and one mapped here. It means 1.21, 2.1 is mapped and 1.6.1 is mapped. Then as per this table, if I have to take the percentage of indicators are mapped under PO1, I should take 2 by 5. Okay, that's good. 2 by 5. Instead of going with 2 by 5, I wanted to take 2 by 3. Okay, 2 by 3. Why? I'll tell you. See, this 1.2.1 is under this competency, right? Under this competency. So this competency carries how many performance indicators? 2 performance indicators. So, and this one is there in this competency. And this competency carries how many? 1. So 2 plus 1 are 3. The remaining 2 competencies are not at all mapped for my, CO. Then instead of, taking this, I am taking only those competencies for which my CO is being mapped. So while calculating the percentage also, I wanted to take the competency wise information to get the percentage of indicators are being, mapped to my CO. Okay, so 2 by 3. 2 by 3 I have to take instead of 2 by 5. So similarly, I need to map for the remaining POs as well. Under PO2, let us say I have how many competencies? I have about 1, 2, 3, 4 competencies I have. And in competency 1, I have 1, 2, 3. I mean 3 indicators. Here I have 5 indicators. Here I have 2 indicators. Here I have 4 indicators. Total together are going to be how many? 3 plus 5, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, 10 plus 4, 14. Total are going to be 14 indicators. But let us say, for example, if your CO is being mapped to 1 from 2.1, 1 from this competency and 1 from this competency, then it will be 2 only, right? 2 by 14, if you take, the value will be 0. That's the reason why I wanted to go with only the performance indicators that are available under that competency will come into the denominator. Fine. So here I have, let us say 3, and if 1 is mapped from this CO, 3 plus 2 is going to be 5. So what should be my percentage? It's going to be 2 by 5 instead of 2 by 14. Okay. Is it clear to all of you now?
Sir, once again, sir.
So see, while we are mapping our CO with the POs, we are mapping it with the indicators. Okay, so directly you can take your CO because you have prepared all your COs keeping in view of this indicator. So by looking at the indicators, you can easily fetch the statements under indicators which will be mapped to your COs, right? That will fetch you the percentage of the indicators are mapped to your CO under that particular PO, right? So here what we are doing is, if I go with under PO2, there are about 14 performance indicators mapped in this indicator, in this competency, and in this competency. Only one in this competency, one in this competency. Then my mapped CO is only 2. So if I go with the whole as a denominator, then my percentage level goes down 2 by 14. 2 by 14 will be almost 0, like, okay. But PO1 to PO6 at least are going to address almost all the core subjects. So you will get some of the other value from PO1 to PO5 or PO6. For the remaining, of course, PO6 to 12, there is a possibility that you may not able to get a good value. Most of the time you may get 0 also for many of the subjects. For that only we are going for rubrics and indirect surveys and all. Fine. But at least from PO1 to PO6, most of the core subjects have to be mapped, rather, right? So in order to get the good level here, what I'm doing is, instead of taking the denominator as the whole, I'm taking the denominator as the sum of the performance indicators of the competencies across which my CO is mapped. So
Yes.
my CO is mapped across this PO,
This and
this competency and this competency. So what are the performance indicators in this particular competency are 3. In this are 2.
3
So 3 plus 2 is going to
and
be
2.
5 is my
5.
denominator value. 5 is
Yes.
going to be my denominator value.
Denominator.
So what will be the numerator? If 1 is mapped here, 1 is mapped here, what that is the numerator value. It's going to be 2. So 2 by 5. 2 by 5 will give me some value rather, right? Yes. So that way we will map the CO PO. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly
Clear.
for all this. Okay. And for PSOs also indicators are mentioned. You can probably go through because it was already shared before. Now I'll show you an example here how to calculate this course articulation. Now I think a bit is clear in the background how to map the POs. Now we'll see with an example here. So this is all, of course, we have done before. Define the COs using Bloom's taxonomy action mode. We have done. Consider PO 1 to 12 with PSOs of performance indicators that we have done. Prepare initial CO, PO, PSO mapping matrix for a course by considering the performance indicators that are satisfied by each of these. So this matrix you are going to prepare first. This is your initial CO, PO, PSO mapping matrix. So here, for a particular course, now anyway we are going for 5 COs across all the subjects, across the value in bracket you can find, right? 4. What is this for? This is the denominator from this particular performance indicator. Okay. Okay. So what is the denominator value from this indicator? The competencies across which our CO is mapped, only the sum of the performance indicators of that particular competencies will be taken in our denominator. Okay. In our denominator. So this value is the denominator value, right? This value is the denominator value. And now how many are mapped is our numerator value, right? So that you are taking here, right? 2 are mapped out of 4. Okay, this way we'll take this particular matrix. So once this matrix is done, you need to take the percentage out of it. Percentage means 2 by 4 you take, right? Similarly here for 3 by 4 like that. So you generate another matrix that is set to be the final CO, PO and PSO matrix. Okay, so this one. So here you are going to get the percentages. Percentage of the performance indicator mapped of our CO under that particular. Here 2 by 4 you get 50%, right?
50%.
So 50%. Now for 50%, what is the level that we should take? We'll get it from this particular table. So this is the table we have. This is set across the college level and this is uniform across the college level, right? So here if there is no correlation, when do you say there is no correlation between the CO and PO? When between 20 to 40, you say level 1. If the percentage is between 40 to 60, level 2. If it is greater than 60, you say level 3. So yes, since you got 50%, you say it is level 2, right? So similarly, 75, if you got 75 is coming under this particular bracket where you say level 3.
Level 3.
Like that you will generate the CO, PO, PSO matrix, right? So once this PO, CO, PSO matrix is generated, you can calculate the average with respect to percentage, average with respect to level. So how do you calculate the average with respect to percentage? You calculate, add all this by 5, you say you get the average level, right? Average percentage level and average level also with respect to level. How do you calculate? You add all this by 5, you say, right? By 5, you say you'll get this, right? Now you can see there is a last row. This row will give us the information about the POs are being mapped to that entire course. This average level will be taken for the entire course rather, right? So this, of course, NBA team criteria 3 people, we need this, right? So you need to do till here rather, right? So course 1, for this entire course, what is the PO1 level, set level? This is the set level. So this is how you're calculating. This is an average of all courses. No, it's nothing but for the entire course. So now 2.3, say for example, here you got 3. When you have done it with respect to percentage level, because it was 70%. 70% you directly take it from the this table.
Table.
70% is 70% is 3, so you said 3. But when you have calculated with level wise you got 2.8. But in 2 across this 3 and 2.8, 3 almost they are same, so you can you can take 3. Or if you want to go with a weighted average, you can take this 2.8 also. It depends upon you. Okay, because first few subjects, if you are unable to attain, let us say, okay, if you are unable to attain, then probably you can take this. But I suggest
Sir?
you to go with 3 only, right? I suggest you to go with 3, because in our computer science subjects, most of the subjects attainable, and except few subjects for which we are of course taking care of it in the attainment table itself. In attainment table we can do the modification, but for the setting level, you can follow the same. Okay, so you can just follow blindly this particular table. That's it, right? You take 3 out of it rather. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so again for PO2 you have been calculated. You can see percentage wise when you have calculated, you have got how much? Level 2 only, because 58.3, no, 58.3 comes under level 2. Okay, and when you have taken level wise, 3 plus 2 plus 2 by 3 is going to be 2.3 almost. So in 2 and 2.3 you can take 2, you can round it off rather, right? Fine. So till here, when you do, you will get this particular table. This is said to be the program articulation matrix. Okay, and this program articulation matrix is going to be done for the entire course. Of course, this is being done by our criteria people, no issue. But if you have the coordinator, from coordinator's point of view, you have to do till here. Okay, so you complete your process and give us till there. Okay, and now coming to attainment. Hope is clear to all of you how this OPO mapping is done. If any doubt, probably have a recheck on it rather. And there are some do's and don'ts as well. I'll just go through what are the do's and don'ts you need to follow. You can't blindly take this. Okay, you need to ensure after you complete this whether you have met with these do's and don'ts. Right. Any doubt? Yeah. Based on the relevance of the course outcome, they should be mapped with POs and PSOs. These are do's and don'ts. Mapping of course outcomes with POs, PSOs is known as course articulation matrix. This is a course articulation matrix. You need to prepare course articulation matrix for all the courses in the program. So course coordinators are going to prepare the course articulation matrix for all the courses. When you say program, it is the entire course. I mean, be like MTech kind of thing, right? Year-wise, that we do that. Also, you need to provide justification for mapping of COs with POs and PSOs. So this justification, this is one point which has been added here, and this is being recommended by the central committee, that these mappings after being done are required to get it verified by the experts again. So we have already divided our entire course, our program into 8 streams, and all these 8 streams have been assigned with different subject experts. So each course coordinator, after he finishes doing this particular course articulation matrix, has to get it verified by that respective concerned expert and ensure that it is correct. Okay, so you can see here the course articulation matrix. When you prepare, it is not preferred to have more than 1 tree in a row. So in a row, it is better not to have more than 1 tree. If you have more than 1 tree in a row, what do you get? You will get CO level more. I mean, maybe near to 3 rather, right? Which is difficult to be attainable. So these are to be followed while you have. I mean, I instruct the subject experts who are going to verify after the course coordinators finishes their course articulation matrix. they need to check across these do's and don'ts and ensure that they are as per the norms, right? Not to have more than 1 3 in a row. A row cannot
1
be
second,
empty.
sir.
Yes.
In the COPO course articulation matrix, last row should not have more than 1 3, no, sir? COPO mapping of
No.
course.
Last one is taken for program articulation matrix. I'm talking about this course articulation matrix. Course means where all COs.
This one.
Yes. CAM I'm talking about. In CAM I'm talking. This is CAM, right? This is CAM. So in CAM, it is not to have more than 1 3 in a row. A row cannot be empty where all POs are mapped, no correlation. Say, for example, entire row is empty. What do you mean by entire row is empty? It means a
Nothing
CO
is
is
mapped.
not mapped to any of the PO or
Any of the
PS source.
PO.
Then there is no use of that particular CO1, right? Or CO.
Yes.
Fine. So it means at least few values must be there in the row, but a row should not have more than 3. Fine.
More than 1 3.
More than 1 3. More than 1 3, right?
In this table only, no, sir?
Yes, in this table. Yes.
In this table. Yeah.
It is preferred to map a CO with maximum of 5 POs or 5 PSOs. See, if you are trying to map a CO with more than 5 or more than 5 POs or PSOs, what happens? The CO attainment level also will be more. The average that you get will be more, which cannot be sometimes attainable. So, and I don't think our courses are going to be mapped across all POs. It means PO1 to PO12, including PSO1 and PS2. 14 total, I say it will be 14 columns rather, right? So I don't think any of our CO is going to be mapped for all these 14 columns. Of course, PSO 1 and 2 will be mapped because it has to be mapped because it is program specific outcomes, and essentially our course objects must match with this PSOs. But in addition to these PSOs, in POs, from PO1 to PO6, many of the subjects get mapped, but from PO6 to PO12, very few subjects get mapped. So in total, I can say that not more than 5 or 6, values you may get in the entire row for any CO, and that has to be ensured while being checked. The verifier has to ensure that the mapping is done as per this norms only. Overall course mapping ensure that you have 1 or 2 at 3, 1 or 2 at 2, 1 or 2 at 1. Okay, it should be different values instead of the same values, right? So this has to be this do's and don'ts have to be checked by the verifier after once the coordinator finishes this particular job, so that our COPO mapping will be in as per the norms rather, right? So I hope COPO mapping and verification process is clear to all of you. Now we'll see how to calculate the attainments.